If you look around my apartment, you will see that I have replaced almost every picture that we bought somewhere with pictures that I have taken. And the vast majority of those pictures, unlike the one behind me, are pictures of my daughters or my daughters' families, specifically my grandkids, because I want to fill my house with the knowledge and memory of my family. It's pretty easy, I suppose, today with cell phones and mirrorless cameras that have built-in computers that do all the heavy lifting for us, to take a lot of pictures. We don't have to print them out anymore. We don't have to put them in, photo books. They're on our phones. We've posted them to social media. They're somewhere stored in the cloud. We've got them on our computers. And the quality of the pictures are all pretty good because, like I said, the camera is doing the thinking for us. But it wasn't always like that. I have a box of photos, the majority of which were taken by various family members using film cameras, and it's obvious that none of us, myself included, knew what we were doing. The pictures are awful. The composition's awful. The lighting is awful. The white balance is awful. The picture itself is printed. It's awful. It's overexposed. It's underexposed. It's blurred. And yet, we hang on to them, and we cannot seem to find a way to say goodbye to them. In the midst of trying to do a minimalist lifestyle, tackling photography is one of the last things on my list because I know it's going to be one of the hardest. I have pictures that only have one copy of something, but I have two or all three daughters in it, and I can't just leave it thinking that one of them is going to get it. I have to do something with it. I have to scan it. I have to save it. I have to be able to divide it. And then it comes down to, do I only keep the good images? Do I keep all the images? What do I do with all of that? And then what do I do when I'm done? That's the other question. Do I throw out the pictures? Do I then offer them up in their physical nature to my kids? I don't know. I don't have an answer to a lot of these questions. I do know that I have to start. I have to start managing and putting the pictures into some type of digital format that I can share out with my daughters. Maybe one day I'll get it done. Okay, so this video was a little closer to what I have in mind, although it was way too much B-roll over the talking. I probably should have cut back to me talking. Might have been helpful if I had moved around the room while I was talking, so if it came back to me, I would have a different background. Those are still things I've got to work on. I just happened to have videoed enough clips. All my B-roll was videoed in 60 frames per second. And I did learn that if you just drag that onto the timeline, it automatically changes it to 30 frames per second. And so it's not slow motion anymore. So while you're in the media viewer, you have to go in and select all those clips, right click, go to clip attributes, and change that clip speed to 60 frames per second, and then it goes back to slow motion again. So that was a technical thing I learned today while I was doing this video, because I just don't do a lot of slow motion stuff in my other videos. And again, I probably should have cut back and forth between me and the B-roll. It's probably too much B-roll. But the B-roll that I took, I tried to get it to tell the story of the box of photos, what the photos look like, the good photos, the bad photos, the really bad photos, and then try to bring it to a close by lowering the box lid again. So I'm hoping that I was able to convey some part of the story that I was telling. I did do an edit. I cut out a scene that I had videoed in order to get to the point where I was pulling the box off the shelf at the time I was talking about the box of photos. So that was an intentional move on my part in the edit. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Again, this channel is set up for me to practice and for me to not only to practice B-roll and try to go through different types of editing adjustments that I'm just not really used to, but also, it is one camera. It's the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I'm not using a tripod. I'm just using the Mantis Pod Z, which I have always called the PYG Tech, and I just realized today when I looked at a new invoice, it's the PGY Tech. Sue me. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments about sort of how this video progressed, and did I tell the story okay? And because that's the other purpose of this channel, is for you to comment and leave me constructive criticism on what you've seen. We'll see you tomorrow.